Okay, guys, welcome to our show. Mostly a Hawkeye year-end review. We're going to review and talk about our favorite, our least favorites, and just talk about the year that was in most of the sports. But first, I just kind of like it'd be remiss if we didn't at least talk about the Fever start to the season. They just started their season yesterday against and had a huge 35-point win against the Sky yesterday. And for those of us that watched the game, got a little extra treat in that game. And I just thought we could kind of talk about it a little bit.
We sure did. The old
Yeah.
Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark saga continues.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
It wasn't that big of a deal, though.
it really wasn't. I mean, if it wasn't for Angel Reese's reaction, it would have been a foul and over with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and then I heard she was pretty sad that she got booed in Indiana while she was on the free throw line. And that's the complaint that she's having, is that she got booed while she was on the free throw line and couldn't take it. I mean, I don't remember how many times I was at Ohio State and they were quiet and cheering me on to shoot a free throw. I mean, come on. It's part of the game.
So
Oh, yeah.
as somebody that played, Molly, I have to ask you, what was the difference between the Caitlin foul and the shove that Angel Reese had just like a half a second before that, where she shoved
Exactly.
the Indiana player out of the way? I
Exactly,
didn't
and
see
it
any
was
difference.
no, and what Caitlin was trying to do is she's trying to do our old school foul where we would just grab you, like, oh, you're gonna dunk on me? No, you're not, and we just grab you and hold you down and
Yep.
say go to the free throw line. She just didn't do it as gracefully, and then Reese just flops on the floor. I mean, and I may have done the same thing if I were Caitlin and I saw, Natasha Howard getting shoved in the back, one of your oldest players, by Angel
Mhm.
Reese. I'm like, no, you're not doing that. Foul. I mean,
Mhm.
and then puts her on the free throw line. I mean, and then she just totally bricks the free throw, about crying. I mean, and the reaction was absolutely just
Yeah.
uncalled for.
Now, we'll notice later in the game, Angel Reese, Caitlin got out of the way late in the game and let Angel have her basket and didn't
Yep.
even attempt to stop her.
No.
I
He
think
didn't want. I don't
No,
think
I
he
mean-
wanted to start anything, but
the most important part of that play we haven't even talked about, which is Aaliyah Boston stepping
Aaliyah
up
Boston stepping
and
up.
getting between
Yes,
her
it's the
and
most
Reese,
important part.
because we really didn't see that last season.
Yeah, because she wouldn't have done that last year.
mhm.
And I think this group is a tight knit group, and they're going to back each other up. I think you see that now. It doesn't matter if you go at anybody on that court's going to back them up, especially with the addition of Bonner and Sophie Cunningham. I mean, you've
Mhm.
got players coming in that have been there, done that, and they're not going to let anything happen to anybody. So, I mean,
Okay.
it's a tight knit group.
So on the Fever, I want to
Mhm.
get Molly's perspective on this, right? Okay, Steph
Mhm.
White, former
Yes.
WNBA champion coach,
Yes.
national champion at the college level at Purdue as a player.
Yes.
She got the Vanderbilt job when Melanie Balcom was let go. She
Yes.
never had a winning record at Vanderbilt. And in fact, it got so ugly under her
Mhm.
that they had to cancel the season because they only had 4 players left on the roster.
Oh, God.
So what
Yeah.
is the difference between coaching a, a, a premier basketball program that Vanderbilt was and not being able to do it, and then being a WNBA champion coach? I don't understand what the difference is there. Why couldn't she do it in college?
It's probably because you get it's a little different. I mean, they really went in and did the right recruiting of and pulling in this team. If you look at the team at the Fever, I mean, they pulled a lot. And I think she had a lot of input. Obviously she learned from that, right? I mean, that has got to
Yep.
be one of the hardest things to do as a coach, is to coach a team who doesn't buy in, doesn't understand what you're trying to do, where you're trying to lead them. I mean, Vanderbilt's a completely different program than a Big Ten program, right?
Right.
And when you come from old school, okay, and you're coming in and it's a little bit, it's just different. And I found myself doing it as a coach as well, and I had to learn to back off because I was starting
Okay.
to push players away just because that intensity and that need and that want to win and go. And there's times where you got to look away from the scoreboard and understand that you're succeeding on the court at those levels, right? This is a different level. So at this level, she can find the players that she needs and they can take it and go with it. I think the respect is there now with her and where she's gone in the WNBA. She obviously learned from that at Vanderbilt. I mean, I look at her as one of the better coaches now in the WNBA for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
I,
For sure.
I just
'Cause,
wanted to ask
I mean,
about
but
that
again,
because
that's not hard to do.
that's
But
fair.
But yeah.
Okay.
but it's
I just want.
it's the go ahead.
No, I'm gonna let you talk.
Okay, I was just going to say that it's because the players have to be, the coaches sometimes have to adjust the players. She is a hard-nosed coach, which is why Caitlin did the take foul. That take foul you're going to see in almost every single game when a coach says no and ones, no easy bucket. If you do a take foul,
Exactly.
you take the ball away. You take the ball away from any chance of an and one, any chance of an easy layup, and that's what she teaches. Now, maybe when she was at Vanderbilt, she was that same tough-nosed coach, but the kids weren't accepting of that kind of coaching. Yeah. And it's also a lot of reasons why most great players aren't great coaches, because they're expecting something that the kids can't even do, or the players, not even kids, that players can't even do. Very rarely do you see a great player.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like
coach.
Nancy. Right. That's like Nancy Lieberman Klein when I was at in Detroit. I mean, she could still do it with us. She could still get on the court and do everything that we did. So it was hard for her to understand and to step back and not be a player and needed to be a coach. She's a great player, a great announcer, but as a coach, she couldn't like step back from like, I can do this, why can't you? Kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah.
It was something I found interesting that with Steph White in particular, because I've had experience with her around here, and it didn't go so pleasant like it is in Indiana.
Crazy,
well,
right?
She was been there before though, where they were great when she was their coach before, right? So I mean, she's just
played there,
better,
right?
Yeah, she played there as well. She's just a better.
He's gone.
She's a better adult coach, let's say. She doesn't really relate to the college kids probably as much as she can the adults. That's the way I look at it. Kind of like there's so many great coordinators. My sport is football, so I'll go to football. There's so many great coordinators, but when they become a head coach, they're not so great.
It's a different ballgame.
It's a completely different ballgame when you're the CEO of the whole operation, not just the offense or the defense. So, I mean, coaches have to adjust, and a lot of times they can. And maybe Steph couldn't adjust to the Vanderbilt kids, and she makes these adults do what she asks, right? They want the job. They got to do what she says or they'll be, right? So completely different. That's the way I looked at it, is some coaches can't adjust to the kids. They are who they are.
Yeah. And it just seems like a very even though I guarantee they're down to business in Indiana this year, it seems like Caitlin's got her smile back. It just seems like this team is flowing much better than they did. I remember watching at the beginning of last year. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like you're coaching Caitlin out of her game. Like, what is going on? And it just seems like there's a lot of reception for everyone on that team this year.
Well, Steph White said it perfect. The exact opposite of Christy Sides. Christy Sides wanted long twos. She's like, take those long twos. And Caitlin went through 4 years of Bluter saying, don't take long twos. That's bad efficiency, right? You take the mid-range when it's there, and you take the three when it's there. Stephanie White said, you don't tell Steph Curry to not shoot an open shot. So you're not going to do that to Cece, and that's what Christy Sides did last year. Until
she did.
Until Caitlin decided, I'm just going to show them what I can do, and that's after the All-Star break, she started shooting those deep threes more often. She was making them more, but I also think she was wore out. I think the WNBA is really hard on rookies, going straight from. We're going to find out with Paige Beckers, right?
Yeah.
To see how she handles coming straight from the national championship game right into the W.
Okay.
Let's
talk about
20 games.
Yeah, let's talk about we got Lucy, who's played in two season games and I think 2 preseason games. I think she's averaging 1 point in the first 2 games. What do you guys see? I mean, she got 10 minutes of playing time and scored no points yesterday. Or was that earlier today? I can't remember. But do you see Lucy hanging in there, or do
Anybody?
you see her?
Anyone?
I mean, I saw her game 1. That's what I saw, and she looked okay. She's just getting her feet wet, kind of like Caitlin. The difference between Lucy is she's not starting. She doesn't have the ball in her hands all the time, right?
Right.
You can't expect the coaches are going to see what Lucy can actually do. Let her get her feet wet and let her get going and get used to the W. Heck, she wanted to shake hands. Remember that? They didn't. Like, none of those college kids didn't even know the W. They don't shake hands after the game.
They don't.
And Lucy, she tweeted. She was like, "This must be a WNBA thing." They all lined up because the Washington Mystics have so many rookies.
Yeah, they do.
They're all college kids.
They do.
They all lined up, and the team they were playing just walked the other way, and they were like it became a big thing on Twitter. It was hilarious, or X, whatever you call it.
All right. Okay, guys. I'm gonna invite Brandon on because we're gonna move on from the WNBA talk now, and he wanted to spit that part out.
I do want to say something about the Fever though, because there's been some bad updates today. If you guys haven't been paying attention,
I haven't. Tell us what's going on.
Well, they're talking about even that Indiana is not safe enough for the All-Star game, and then today's race, they actually had a race car that was sponsored by the Indiana Fever for the All-Star break. The MC at Indiana, who does it for the Pacers as well. Flight Reacts is a reactor who does this thing, and it wasn't a real animal noises, right? And it was somebody who heard it on TV and tweeted it saying that they heard animal noises headed at Reese, when it was the MC playing a Flight Reacts video of noises that he makes, and he does that at the Pacers game when the opponent is on the free throw line. So then
so that's what it was all about. I wondered. I wondered what was going on.
Yeah, somebody heard it on TV and then tweeted that they were there, and somebody and the W is taking it and running it, even though people are saying no, there was no animal noise. It was from the freaking MC who plays in that Pacers game, and it sounds like a bunch of different animal noises.
They've got to be careful with that. I just know from being a white coach, just letting you know, a white coach of a majority all black girls softball team. I wanted to. There's just things that you cannot do, like Welcome to the Jungle, playing those, and we're the Tigers. Like, there's just so many things you can't do anymore because it is looked at as a, and I am the least racist person or coach you can find. I mean, most of my kids be like, not you, Coach Tyback, like somebody else, but not you. But
right.
You have to be careful, and so they're just kind of going up to that.
Yeah, when I first moved to Omaha, I was the only white coach on the team, Northwest High here in Omaha.
So
if you guys know that high school. And I had some of the coaches that were really cool. They said I got the card, And the offensive line coach looked at me when they said that. He was an older black dude, right?
Oh yeah, not happening.
And that look he gave me with his eyes, I was like, no, I don't have nothing. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm good. So no, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Guys, I would like to move on and talk about the demise of the Hawkeye Baseball, but I also want to. Now I know Chris has already pointed out something to me in the text messages yesterday, but I'm going to go along with this one on this one. Because he did help me see the light on something that Iowa baseball overperformed this year. Would you guys agree with that? Rather than disappointing, not winning the title, but they still overperformed. Is that correct in your mind?
Yes, they overperformed.
In the Big Ten, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was the normal season in the non-conference. It was a normal year. They still lost to those bad teams and all that. They do that every single year, but it was different in the Big Ten. They won a lot of games that were really close as well. I see Chris's point on that.
Mhm.
The pitching was better than expected, except for Brad. You don't want to hurt Brad's feelings here. Brad knew the pitching staff was going to be great. For those of you who know who Brad is, I don't know how many people know, but yeah.
Okay. I would like to point out that Andrew says Molly's a superstar, and now he's saying get ready for some crazy talk. Brandon is
no
still
crazy
not.
talk here.
I told Brandon to come on. We were talking baseball. He's still not on with us, but okay.
So
Superstar.
if you look back at the last 5 years of the Big Ten, Iowa has the highest average finish at 4.5 out of everybody.
Wow.
So to say that finishing third in the Big Ten is a demise of the program is, I don't know where that comes from. They
I know you're
overachieved.
talking about.
Yeah,
I know you're talking about.
They absolutely overachieved.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
And there's things that they can do to get better.
Yeah. Chris, I think as you get to know me more, especially with the football season, because I don't think we interacted too much during football season, you're going to see that I can see the glass half empty more than I will ever see it half full.
All the time. All the time.
So true.
I kind of during the basketball season and in the football season, I kind of learned to stay off of social media. But during the women's games this year, I only talked to Molly during the
Yeah, he would text me all the time. I'm like, give him a second. It's gonna be okay.
He's got the
Just be
perpetual
done.
white flag hanging behind his back. We're ready to wave it.
I'll get one for those.
It's the first inning. We're screwed.
Yeah. Yes. I'm like, it's
he
just
actually,
the first minute.
He actually did that the other day. It was 1-0 in the first inning. He said, "Oh, they've let us down so bad." And I pulled up the scoreboard, and it was 5-1 Iowa. What are we talking about here?
Are you delayed out there?
Okay, so here's what it was. Okay, we got off to the first inning the day before, down 1-0, and then of course, as you know, all hell broke loose and we got 10-run rule. Okay, so the next game we start out 1-0 in the first inning. I mean, down 1-0 in the first inning, and I'm going, here we go again. And I mean, granted, we got out to a pretty sizable lead. What was it, 6-2 or something? But we couldn't hold it and lost that game 9-6.
6-1 at one point.
Yeah.
But that's the difference in where the two programs are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oregon plays these tough schedules. They play these early season tournaments that get out and play the SEC and the ACC, and they play those games. Where Iowa doesn't do that. And in order to get where Oregon's at, you have to play the better competition. And Molly understands it, and I'm sure Jason understands. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
I know, because I've seen Jason say that over and over again this weekend.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
If you don't need it until you get there, it's not going to work.
It's a different ball game.
No, you've already got you have to see it several times throughout the year and know what you're going to go up against when you get into the tournament play, or it just doesn't work.
See, and I use us for an example, Vanderbilt as an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we played at Auburn this year.
Yeah, big.
We had a lead in the 9th inning against Auburn. And they hit a walk-off grand slam to beat us. And
it's
then
still a good game.
There was another game where Arkansas, we were right there with them every step of the way, all three games. Had a lead in the 8th inning in all three of them, and lost all 3.
Yeah.
Okay. If those 2 things don't happen, last weekend in Tennessee at Tennessee and Knoxville, we don't win that. We don't win that Sunday game if first we hadn't gone through those other 2 experiences.
You're right.
All
That's
right,
so
let's
true.
talk real quick. Softball. Okay.
Yeah.
Softball
Ugh.
finished 6th overall and had a bad performance against Penn State in the Big Ten tournament. Guys, they finished 6th, but 2 teams under them actually went to the tournament, and they got left behind. I'm not surprised because now it makes sense because they don't have a coach yet. And Jason and Chris are probably more in tune, and maybe Molly. Is there some hot shot softball coach out there that Getz might be looking at, because she's already told the guy was running the team this year that he's not going to be considered?
No, he's going to be considered if
He's
he
not.
wants to.
He already announced to the team that he will not be
crazy.
considered.
When did he say this? Because I've seen the opposite. Okay, well, I'll just talk. I mean, if he's not being considered, then he must be going back to Sweden. That's the only thing I can think of that.
Okay,
He's not, because Carl Golan, he was hired in August to be the pitching coach, right? And then we lost Renee Gillespie for personal reasons, her family.
Yep.
Then somebody who's already been there with Renee got hired. Well, I don't even want to talk about him. He just started complaining about the culture of Iowa, and he was just an idiot. So then they gave it to Carl, and he took off with it, right? They got 35 wins. They finished 6th. They had 15 wins in the Big Ten, which is the most since 2012. They won 16 in 2012, I believe. He got.
Hey, can I just stop you real quick, Jason? Hey, can any of you guys, because I'm scared to leave my setup here, can any of you guys that has Brandon texting, send him the link that I sent you guys so he can get in? He's having trouble getting in.
Okay, yeah, that would have to be Chris. I don't have, other than on my phone, but anyway, I mean, Jalen Adams had 25 wins. 25 wins this year, which is the most since 2012 for an Iowa pitcher. All they had to do, going back to what you said though, Dean, all they had to do was beat Penn State and lose to Nebraska in the next round. They're in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
They swept Penn State in the regular season, and then they lose to them in the Big Ten tournament. Mm-hmm. That's all they needed was that win. Now the 2 teams that got in behind them was Indiana, who had they did what Chris said. Indiana literally did what Chris said. They played hard non-conference teams, and their RPI was high, but then they went through an injury bug, and Indiana lost in the Big Ten, fell behind Iowa. I think Indiana finished 7th. But Michigan, who finished 8th, actually went on and won the Big Ten, right? So they won the Big Ten tournament. That's how they got in.
Right. That's automatic bid.
Yeah. So that's why Michigan got in. If Michigan doesn't win the Big Ten, maybe they don't get in and Iowa does, right?
Right.
But losing to Penn State just screwed Iowa. I mean, that was silly. But they had 4 Big Ten sweeps this year. 4. Which was the most since 2010. They won 12 of the last 13. They won 12 of the last 13 Big Ten games going into that game against Penn State that they literally just swept 2 weeks before that. So, yeah, it was if they don't lose to Michigan State, they might get in. That was a bad loss on their RPI, right? Their RPI was in the 40s. But they lost to Michigan State, and it was still in the 40s, but then they lost to Penn State, the 11 seed, who they were like a 500 ball club. That destroyed Iowa softball. Made me sad, because this was one of the best teams.
I know.
Carl's a great coach. Hearing that from Dean really angers me, though.
Yeah,
so
I'm just going by. I was listening to the hot. Well, I guess they don't call it the Hot Spot podcast anymore. But they but they said that they had talked to him and he had told the team and everybody that he was told he was not being considered for the job. And when the beat writers asked Beth about his possibility of him become the next coach, all she said was at that time was, well, he better put in an application.
So maybe he is going back to Sweden, and he told her that he didn't want to be a head coach because he's still part of their national team in Sweden. So maybe he doesn't want to be the head coach. He came here to be the pitching coach. And since he was already here and all the drama that happened, he just took it and ran with it. And it just turned out to be,
and that could be, he may have taken himself out of consideration.
Like, I'm out.
So,
all right. Before we move on to some of the fun stuff I want to do, I'm going to read Calvin's Fisher's comment. Iowa baseball and softball are the biggest surprises to a positive this year at Iowa, I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
So you ask, is there a hot shot coach out there that Iowa should consider?
Yeah.
Yes, that's all. Is there something that Iowa should consider?
So I'm going to have a little bit of fun with this because I know Andrew's in the comments and he wanted to say something about me. How about?
Yes, he said that you could make anything about Vandy.
So how about Iowa come up with a bunch of money, go offer $1 million to this coach? How about Ashley Chastain, the head coach at South Carolina, who's got the Gamecocks in a super region, get up $1 million contract for her. Make her say no.
Right.
Go get.
That means they got to raise money though to get that.
Go to one of these SEC schools,
and they got to want to give the money to softball.
Yeah, that would be amazing if they can go. I don't think there is
any SEC school. Go get one of their assistants.
Oh yeah. Go grab Alabama's assistant.
Okay. Andrew, South Carolina can outspend Iowa. I have no doubt about it.
Oh, absolutely.
They got the SEC money.
Duh.
Yeah, Molly just said
fun.
Come on. Jeez.
Yeah, right.
Guys, I promise Brandon will be joining us. He's having some technical difficulties getting in. Andrew's trying to help him get in.
Molly lives down here. She knows what it's like.
I do know what it's like.
The money's different down here in the SEC. We ain't joking when we say
way different.
By the way, Molly, did you go to the Dream game yesterday?
I went. Yes, I went to the Dream game. It was amazing.
Cool.
Well, I went to the Dream game that was on Sunday or Saturday before Mother's Day. It was amazing.
Oh yeah. So hey,
great seats.
Speaking, because I know you went to concerts the last couple of weeks, and I'm embarrassed. I did not recognize the one that you were showcasing on Facebook. But
Jelly Roll
last night, you guys know that Luke Bryan does these farm shows around. He did a farm show last night, 3.5 miles from our house. So we sat outside and we could hear the entire show clear as a bell. But boy, people were complaining and moaning and groaning because they couldn't get into the show. The traffic was backed up for miles, and there was no place to park. Once they did get there, the gates opened up at 6, and people were trying to leave their houses at 5 o'clock, I guess. And somebody just kind of joked on Facebook this morning, "Hey, I left. That's why I left and got in line at 3 o'clock."
That's what happened at the Fever game because Atlanta didn't move it to State Farm Arena. So when Atlanta played the Dream, they kept it in their small arena, and it pretty much blew up all of the ticket systems, and people couldn't get in the door. So they were already shooting and playing the game while we were standing outside. You could hear, and blah, blah, blah for 3. And I'm like, I bet it was Caitlin.
You talk about Luke Bryan. If I want to hear him sing, I just drive about 5 miles down the road and sit out at the end of his driveway, and listen to him play the loudspeakers in the barn.
Oh, that's
seriously.
Cool.
Really? He's that close to you?
Oh yeah.
You better shut the front door. I'm coming to your house.
He actually lives.
I'm not a Luke Bryan fan, but I thought it was kind of cool that as big as he is, I could hear his entire concert in my yard.
Yeah.
How the wind picked it up and carried it over to my yard last night.
Awesome.
All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through some of this fun stuff. So I want everybody It doesn't matter what sport, but I want everybody to pick a play from whatever sport that was your favorite one that you would just like to see on repeat on your YouTube all day. I'm going to start with Chris, since Chris is right next to me on the box up there.
Okay. Of the past school year, my favorite play for Iowa.
You didn't send him the agenda?
I sent it in the Hawks thing, so
I-
he should
I
have gotten
actually-
it.
I actually copied the agenda and put it in the private chat over here so we can follow along as he's talking.
Oh, okay.
You can Google while he's talking.
I don't know
While you're
that I
thinking about that, let's answer Arthur's question. Who are we, people? We are
Who are
Hawkeye
we?
fans who like to come on here and talk. And you're saying getting past the 50. I don't even know what is he trying to say we're too old, Andrew?
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Way to be.
Okay. We're having fun. Anyway, Chris, you want me to come back to you while you think about it?
Yeah, come back to me.
Okay.
I have something.
Go for it. You're next.
I want Iowa beating USC at Iowa, sold out in front of CC. I want that playing forever free in my memory. That was one of the best ever. I mean, come on now.
I
When they
don't know
put
who Arthur
USC
is,
down,
but he doesn't think Iowa's real.
huh?
Arthur says Iowa isn't a real place. But anyway, go ahead.
It's not a
I'm
real
sorry to
place.
interrupt you. Yeah. Okay. Now, Molly, that's a game that you can pick later because we're going to do a game. I want a specific play.
Specific play.
that
Good
just-
Lord,
that
that's
just-
tough.
Yeah.
Had to be something with Sydney. I remember when Sydney did something. Let me think about that.
Okay. All righty. Paul, you've been awful quiet, so we're coming to you next.
For me, it's probably the Caleb Johnson touchdown catch against Nebraska, 72 yards. Without that, then we don't get the field goal to win the game. So just probably the most fun play I remember from the football season.
All right.
I'm
Jason?
gonna surprise everybody with mine because you guys know as a quarterback I don't like Sullivan, but my favorite play of the year is actually him just doing that little toss to the tight end and then lead blocking down the field for like 40 yards, and he got down to like inside the 10-yard line. That's my favorite play, is the way he tossed the ball, but then he took off running and he actually was the lead blocker for the tight end. That's my favorite play of the year. Even though I didn't like him as a quarterback, but that hustle, I really like that.
Okay. All right. Paul and I are on the same boat. We don't beat Nebraska without that catch and run by Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
And so that had me so stoked. I couldn't, one of many of his good runs. And I'm going to call it a run because it was basically a lateral pass to the sideways. So it was a pass technically, but it was a run.
It was
Knocking over guys who was going. Andrew can't stand Nebraska. That's fine. Vandy, have you had time to figure something out? And I want you to explain to this guy why you're on this show by being named Vandy.
Okay, Paul. So, Arthur, that's who it is. I grew up in Iowa, southwest Iowa specifically, in a little town called Denison. When I was in high school, I actually moved to a little place called Manila. That's where I graduated from, the last graduating class from Manila High School. But yeah, I spent the early part of my life as a Hawkeye fan. And when I joined the military and got out of the military, my family had moved to Middle Tennessee, where my stepfather was from. So when I got out, I just came here, and I had to pick a team with black and gold since the internet didn't exist much at all in 1990. when I was in Middle Tennessee looking for a team to cheer for. I couldn't keep up with Iowa sports. So I picked the next best thing, the black and gold from Vanderbilt University. That's how I became a Vandy fan. I still follow Iowa sports. So many fond memories of my youth of watching things. Rob Houtland kicking the field goal against Michigan in the 1v2 game. Chuck Long breaking records in college. There's so many things that I got to enjoy when I was a teenager. I still have Iowa in my heart. So when there's Iowa topics, I like to chime in. And I know so much about the past at Iowa that they love having me on and discuss things. But for my favorite play this year, I have to go with the final whistle in the Iowa USC game, where Iowa pulls off a major upset in women's college basketball with a 70-69 win on the day they retired Caitlin Clark's number 22.
That's a good one.
That's a very good
Way
one.
to pull that in on the final whistle.
Right.
The final
Good
whistle.
job.
Okay. All right, Molly, did you find one that you want to?
It was just a Fulters. I mean, when she was hitting all those threes against Michigan, I think she just came alive. I mean, and it was at Michigan. So she was just quiet in the crowd. I remember that. I mean, it was, because I know she'd been struggling for a minute trying to kind of find her place as a leader on the floor, and to just see her finally break away from that, hitting the wide open threes. I think she got a skip pass from Stolke and hit a three, and then another one, they passed it back up top, and she had another one. I mean, it was just like she couldn't miss.
Yeah, I remember that game. She's my favorite player. I remember that.
Yeah,
game.
I love her. Such a hard worker, blue collar hard worker. Deserves everything she gets.
Yeah.
There you go. Arthur says Vandy equals Northwestern in the big.
Stop it. Look. Vanderbilt.
You're getting a hard time
much.
tonight. You're not. You're gonna.
I will admit Vanderbilt loses a lot in football, but we don't hold the nation's record for the longest losing streak in the history of college football. That would be Northwestern. That's not Vanderbilt. We're two different things.
That's right.
Now, I would like to point out that Northwestern just a couple of years ago won the Big Ten West. Although we helped them get there. Okay. Let's see. Oh, yeah. The next one is I want everybody to pick their favorite game. Mine was, you guys have already, a couple of you brought it up, was the USC-Iowa game, where we blow USC out on our home court. Caitlin Clark retires her number. Everybody's back for it, including, I believe, David Letterman.
Yeah.
By the way, if you guys haven't seen on, I think it's Netflix, David Letterman's interview with
Great.
Caitlin, it's one of the best interviews I've seen Caitlin do yet.
Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to go in reverse order now. Paul, tell me.
Favorite game? Man, this is tough.
You guys didn't do your homework. Man, we had the agenda.
Yeah.
I had the agenda for over 24 hours.
I got my favorite game.
It's
Okay,
just
go
so
ahead,
hard
Chris.
to pick, but it's so hard to pick just one.
Which is one that if you had the choice on TV to rewatch, you would pick that one first.
Probably the Nebraska game.
Iowa versus Nebraska. Okay. Back-to-back 13-10 wins, walk-off field goals 2 years in a row.
Punting is winning.
Yep. Punting is winning. I got that.
Or in this case, his field goal is winning.
Mine. I have both of them. It's women's sports for me. This year's just been a women's sports year, but I have two. Since I know you guys already, I knew the Iowa USC women's basketball game is just going to be everywhere in this agenda. Mm-hmm. So my favorite game this year is the Iowa softball victory over UCLA. That was fun. That was extremely fun. That's my favorite game of the year, I should say. Jalen pitched great. I mean, the whole team did great. They were on fire as far as their defense. Tatiana Roman made an unbelievable catch. She had 0 errors all year out in left field. So that was pretty special. But yeah, that victory over UCLA was pretty fun. I want to say they were in the top 5 at that time, because I think they're still like 6th or something like that in the top 10 after even losing to Iowa. And I think they lost another one, but they're still in the tournament.
Yeah.
In the regionals. So
yeah,
and I think Nebraska is actually still in the regionals as well. So
for sure. Especially with Jordy as a pitcher.
Yeah.
He'll stay in there for a minute. I enjoyed the UCLA game. I was at it. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was a bittersweet ending, the UCLA versus Iowa game. Oh my gosh, I can't believe how that ended. It ended and it just was like, are we done? We can't be done. There's no way we're done. But I mean, it was enjoyable because I went to UCLA, so you know, it was kind of fun, you know, watching both my teams play, and then I'm happy both ways, but I still wanted Iowa to win, of course, but being there and experiencing it and just the atmosphere of that game, dang, I mean, the energy and it was crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Arthur says beating the stuffing out of Wisconsin's his game because he hates them. Yeah. We went through a streak where they dominated us, so we've been dominating them the last couple of years.
Ever since they fired their 9-10 win coach, they haven't won.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's another red and white team that did the same thing, and they're still struggling. So,
well, I think they're gonna show a few people this year. The other red and white team.
Yeah. They did fire their fake air raid offensive coordinator. And that's why I'm bitter about Wisconsin, is because they called their offense air raid and it's not. I hate fake air raid offenses, and they're not. But he came from North Carolina.
Alvarez probably come in and said,
Chris might know him. Yeah, he was the OC at North Carolina. That was a fake air raid offense down there as well. Then he came to Wisconsin and did the same thing. And, they fired him. Air raid. No, it's not. They call it air raid for whatever reasons, because of the gaps in the offensive line. I don't know. Anyway, I digress.
All right, here we go. We're back. Or was I the only one missing?
Yeah, I was here.
Okay.
I was here.
I haven't gone anywhere.
Okay, did everybody get a chance to talk about their favorite game?
Oh, Chris. Yeah, you missed Chris. Hey, Chris.
Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Okay, I'm going to go.
Was it Iowa versus Vanderbilt? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm going to go a different route, right?
Okay.
I'm a baseball guy. So many Power 5 schools thumb their noses at lesser conferences and lower level teams, right? You know what I love? You know what game I loved?
Yes. What?
Bringing the little Doohawks from Loras College in Dubuque, Iowa, to Iowa City and letting them get a little flavor of big boy baseball and hosting Loras College, an NAIA school, and a baseball game against a P4 school. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
So many Power 4 teams won't do that. Credit to Iowa for getting it done.
Yeah. Do you know that in an interview yesterday, Hellers explained why the teams that they play midweek are who they play and not Power 4 teams? Is because has to do with travel stuff. Like he said, this year they would have loved to have Missouri come up and do a midweek game with them. But he said, of course, this year it wouldn't have got them the RPI they needed with Missouri. He was making fun of their winning only 3 games in the Big Ten Conference. The SEC Conference. Sorry.
SEC, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, I thought that was quite interesting because they would like to bring some of the big boys in on midweek that are non-conference. But he just said that, it doesn't make sense for one game to travel the way they would have to do that game.
I'm 100% for. You know what? Iowa wants to play a midweek game against it. Guess what? Set us up for a home and home. We'll do one at the beginning of the year, end of the year. Set it up.
There you go. There you go.
Yep, for sure.
And that helped get the RPI going, right?
Mhm.
Iron sharpens iron.
That's
All
right.
right. What do we got next on our agenda here?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite player.
I gotta get my phone back here. Here we go.
Most improved. Each
Oh no, that's
sport.
right. Yeah, most improved.
Oh
Most
yeah.
improved.
Okay, so I want to start this one out and I don't know, as the year went on, this may not be true, but on the women's team, I definitely think the most improved person was Addison O'Grady. She showed a lot until she lost her starting job, and then
Same.
and I think because she lost her starting job, she didn't show what she had the rest of the year. Anyhow, that's where I'm at with that one. I don't know what to say in football because
I was
my
going to
most
say
improved player. I guess I would just go with Weegan because he did finally get his. Was it a kickoff or a punt return for a touchdown?
Both. He got one of each.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm going to give that one to him. Men's basketball. I don't know where to go with that one. I'm just gonna say either Dix or the little Sanford guy, Bryce.
Okay. Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
All right. I'll go next.
Okay.
Well, for football, it's KJ because he was one of my favorites as well, but he had a great freshman year where she showed out. We did a video, Dean and Paul.
Mhm.
We remember when Brian brought back the motion for one game for us that we were begging about against Purdue.
Paul's always begging for it.
As in Purdue, I mean, I showed us all the video on the motion and how that worked perfect for KJ, but Brian didn't do it all the time. It's just weird. But he had over 200 yards rushing as a true freshman. He had less than 20 carries against Purdue. He had a 75-yard touchdown where he split two defenders perfectly at the line of scrimmage. It was pretty amazing. So KJ, because in his sophomore year, he went backwards. But I think it was a style of play because they tried changing up. They went from pulling to gap. So they didn't do as much stretch. They went to gap, and it didn't work out for him. And then this year, you saw what happened with Lester. My basketball, it's Brock Harding for me. He wasn't turning the ball over as much. When he got the play, he got his chance. He balled out. He had a few games where, he struggled a little bit. But for the most part, I just feel in men's basketball, they were just discombobulated. I don't know. But Brock Harding, he did very well. In my opinion, he was the most improved from his freshman to his sophomore year. I have, Taylor McCabe is my most improved in women's basketball.
Okay.
Taylor, she took the start. They had no choice but to start her after a while, right? Mm-hmm. She took it, ran with it, and she was the top 3-point shooter in the Big Ten. And she got the attempts. She was really good as a freshman, but she didn't get the attempts, right? Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, her defense, she stepped up on defense, which is why she was on the court. They kept taking her off the court at the beginning of the year because her defense was lacking, right? But she stepped up defensively. So Taylor McCabe is my women's basketball. Baseball for me is Ben Wilmus. I think his batting average it's above 300. As far as the leadoff hitter, he just became the perfect leadoff hitter for Iowa, in my opinion. His defense was really good as well. And my softball is Tatiana Roman, the Puerto Rican. She's on the Puerto Rican national team, but she didn't have one error out in left field. She's one of those, I don't know if you guys know, slap hitters, right? Mm-hmm. She would come up big in certain situations for Carl, right, where she would have, because she was a really good slap hitter, and she got her batting average up doing that. And this was her final year. So those are all my most improved for all the sports I follow.
Cool. That's really good, comprehensive. Thank you. I by the way, my daughter, when she played softball in high school, she was also a slap hitter. They didn't use her on the defense, but she was a DH and she just was a slap hitter. It worked. How about you, Paul?
I'm just going to keep mine pretty short. My most improved player is Jacob Gill. I mean, first wide receiver to lead Iowa in receiving since Amir Smith Marset. So, and he kind of really came on for Iowa. So that I'm just going to say Jacob Gill.
Okay.
We can move on.
All right. Molly?
I have O'Grady as well for the girls basketball. And then also Kylie Auerbach. And
she gets a second consideration there. Yes,
yeah, like I'm just so glad she's coming back, because I think now she can really step into that leadership role that she needs to step into. But yeah, I mean, she just it felt like the first couple, a little bit last year, when she was playing, she was a little bit out of control. And but I mean, we love that, we needed that every once in a while. Oh, still there.
Speaking out of control.
Yeah, speaking out of control, she just went for the ball right there. That's about what happens. But I just feel like she just really came into herself along with O'Grady. I mean, I gotta represent the post players there.
Well, she took over for Gabby, right? Her defense was really well. That's where her defense was always there.
Yeah, she basically played Gabby's spot.
Yeah, for sure.
And she's 6 foot tall. That helped out.
Which is so crazy. Out. She doesn't seem that tall at all, but yeah, it's crazy.
Iowa isn't so much a position team.
No.
I mean,
they're
women.
No, they're positionless. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
really will be this next year too, because they don't have enough post players coming in. But
yeah, they're going to be running for sure.
Yeah. All right, Chris. You have plenty of time. I left you last on purpose.
Okay. So I've got 3. I got baseball, men's basketball, women's basketball.
Okay, cool. Go for it.
So women's basketball is going to be short and simple and unconventional.
Okay.
I'm going to say Hannah Stolke. Because if you look at where she was at starting the year, dealing with the injuries, being able to battle through, averaging 12 points a game from where she started the season that she worked her tail off to get back, right? I have to give her a nod there for improving from where she was at to get to where she got, because that took a lot of work to come back from that injury, right?
True.
So basketball, another one. Kind of unconventional, because he was one of the stars of the team, right? How about Josh Dix? This guy increased his scoring average from, let me see where it is. I saw it just a second ago. From 8.5 points a game for his entire career to 14.4 points a game. This dude, if that's not improvement, I don't know what is. But you don't think of a guy like that because he's one of the team leaders.
Right.
But I got Josh
Dix. He'll be at Creighton this year.
I got Josh Dix being the most improved player for men's basketball. And then in baseball, again, one of your team leaders, leadoff hitter, Gable Mitchell.
Okay.
Increases his average from 293.
He's number 2. Gable batted number 2. Wilmus was leadoff.
Gotcha. But he increased his batting average from 293 to 340. He increased his on base average from 390 to 434. This guy got better.
Yeah,
I think he's the most improved player on the team.
And you're probably right. I didn't realize his batting average was that high.
Yep.
I knew he was in the 300 range, but
Yeah,
that's nice.
that's a nice improvement. That's working to get better.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, let's move on to our most disappointing team of the year. Molly, I'm going to start with you.
I got nothing. I love my Hawkeyes. How about that?
Okay.
I got something for you.
I do
All right,
too.
Jason.
Men's
Well, okay,
basketball.
let's go Paul first.
I'll
then
just
we'll
say
go to
boys basketball. How about that? Men's basketball. Oh.
Jay. Okay.
That was mine. Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Men's basketball, like really? I feel like they need a change, which is coming, right?
Okay, Paul.
I'm going to say it was the Iowa defense. I mean, we went, we didn't force a punt against Michigan State. We brought back a bunch of guys that we really thought they were going to be able to mostly sustain the excellence that is the Iowa defense. And for whatever reason this year, Phil just couldn't wave that magic wand the way that we're used to.
I know why, if you want me to articulate it, but go ahead, keep going.
So, well, in general, I think we all had kind of high hopes or high expectations for the Iowa defense with those guys coming back, and there was a bigger fall off than I think we thought would be.
We didn't understand the drama that was on the Iowa defense. That's why certain players, and that's another thing with NIL with these young kids. I mean, jealousy. There was a couple players that got way more money, NIL money, and other players thought they should have got, all of them should have gotten the same. They should have put all their money into a pot and then just give everybody the exact same amount. Well, there was so much animosity saying, why did you get this much and I only got this much? That's what I was told. That's the big reason why Parker understood it. And you notice Parker did not get crazy like he always does. Parker acted like he was just retiring, right? I think he knew just the attitude of the players was not Iowa-type players, right?
Crazy.
They were worried about petty things because some of them weren't going to play or aren't going to play in the NFL. So that was their chance to get their money, right? Coming back when they should have went in the draft to begin with. Well, certain players got way more than others, and now they're going to have to do it in the NFL. But that was a huge part. They just had so much pettiness is what I'm going to say, but it's probably not, because if I was 21 years old, I'd probably feel the same way, right?
Yeah. Hey, guys, we're going to take a quick break and come back and finish this discussion. Okay, we're back. All righty. Who's next to talk about their most disappointing team? Go for it, Chris.
The bandy guy getting left behind every time.
I didn't know if Jason actually wanted to elaborate on why he thought men's basketball was, but
I'm kind of
giving him an opportunity. But that's fine. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just, you don't want to do that. I talk. You're going to get me talking. I won't shut up. And then Chris won't be able to go.
All right. All right, go, Chris.
So I'm going to say men's basketball. And I have my reasons for that. Remember, I grew up in the 80s, right? I got to see Lute Olson take Iowa to the Final Four. I got to see Tom Davis win 30 ball games at Iowa. I got to see Iowa compete for top-level Big Ten finishes every single year. I expect more out of Iowa men's basketball. So That to me has
I
got to be
mean-
the most disappointing to be where they're at from what I remember it being.
You just gave me goosebumps.
Right.
I was in elementary school through those. Man, that was what we talked about because Iowa was on TV. Their big games were, right?
Yes.
Well, it
Yes.
was like CBS, ABC. So we'd all talk Iowa basketball in elementary school and junior high.
Yep.
And then Dr.
Yep.
Tom took over. You know, George Ravlin was a great recruiter.
Yep.
If only Tom Davis could recruit the way he could coach, right? He was
Yep.
a great coach, but he just couldn't recruit the same way. But yeah, no, you're right, Chris. I remember those days. I mean, I was young, but
Yeah.
I hope it comes back now. But, yeah.
I remember those days as well.
See, I remember one game specifically. I don't know if it was junior or senior year. Iowa was playing Illinois. They were ranked number 1 in the country. They were down by 15 at halftime and went on like a 30-4 run and jumped up they were up by like 15 and just blew these cats out of the water. I'm like, this is Iowa basketball right here. And that was Tom Davis leading that team with the players that George brought in. But George wanted to play this slow down, methodical style that didn't fit the up and down tempo that the players he had could do.
Could do,
Yeah. Okay, guys, I got two teams that kind of just really let me down this year as far as I'm concerned. And you'll be surprised it's not men's basketball because they finished exactly where I said they would if anybody remembers my predictions. So I was right on the money. Okay, so my disappointment, 1A is Hawkeye football team. Okay? They finished 8-4 regular season. They could have had easily 3 more wins. They should not have lost to UCLA. They should not have lost to Michigan State. And they should not have given up that lead by sitting on it against Iowa State and still led, I believe, 19-7 or something like that going into the fourth quarter. And yet we decided to sit on the lead until it's too late. So we should have had an 11-win season in the regular season, and we probably would have made the playoffs. Okay. Now, 1B. I'm going with Calvin and Arthur on this one. Wrestling. They had so much potential, and so many of the wrestlers did not live up to their seedings, to their rankings, and a couple of them did. And I think at least one case, one exceeded his ranking and stuff like that. But they should have been number 2 in the nation. They should have been number 2 in the Big Ten, and I think they finished 4th in the Big Ten and 4th or 5th in the nation. That's just not Iowa wrestling.
Mm-mm.
I also grew up in an era where Dan Gable and Iowa wrestling dominated for years. And, you didn't look back. And Gable was so hungry when I think they had 7 or 6 All-Americans. And, no, it was 8 All-Americans. And somebody asked him how he felt about that. Was that something that he felt like he accomplished? He says, no, when I get 10 All-Americans, then I've accomplished it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that kind of sounds like the coach at Penn State, doesn't it? And, I mean, Brands is out there recruiting. I mean, he's trying his best to get us some guys to compete with Penn State. And he actually had one guy this weekend in an international tournament. Defeat a three-time All-American from Penn State. So there you go. Maybe we're finally getting some guys that we can actually take on Penn State head to head. I don't know, but it's time to at least claim number 2. I don't like that because it sounds like I'm settling. But if Penn State's going to continue the dominance, we have to at least be the second dominant team in that league and the nation. Okay,
Yeah.
Said it.
In Kirk's defense, he is 75-3 when he has an 8-point lead at any point in the game.
Okay.
On the Iowa State game. You finally got one right, Dean, on sitting on a lead. But he is 75-3 since 2015 when he has an 8-point or more lead at any point in the game. And those other 2 losses, remember, we discussed this in the preseason a year ago, was in 2020. Like Northwestern when they were up 17-0, the year of the COVID.
Mhm.
So yeah, but that was his first loss since 2015 when they had an 8-point lead at any point in the game. I defended Kirk. There we go.
Yeah.
But
All right, guys, I'm going to skip the most surprising team because I think that's kind of like where we're disappointed. And no, let me ask you: did any team surprise you guys? Maybe outperform or not perform the way you thought they would? Go ahead, Jason. Because you're
For me,
shaking your head, I'll give you first opportunity.
Yeah, for me, softball.
Okay.
I mean, that was so much fun. Like beginning of the year, on the Hawks, everybody was giving me a hard time because Iowa softball is always, they're not very good. And on the Hawks chat, and well, this year they surprised everybody. They won 35 games in the regular season. They won 35 games 2 years ago, but they won the tournament. They won a postseason tournament 2 years ago. That's how they got to their 35 wins.
Tournament. There's a kind of like an NIT for softball.
Yeah, they have them sprinkled all over. They were the only Big Ten team, right, in that tournament. Like they were the bigger school in that particular tournament. But,
was that one in Florida?
I believe so.
I think so. I think I remember seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty, Paul. Let's talk about. Do you have a surprising team that just like either exceeded your expectations or, man, they just didn't perform the way I thought they would?
Yeah, it would have to be Iowa wrestling. I mean, like you guys have already really talked about it, but the expectations for the program are, that it's going to compete for Big Ten and national titles, and it really didn't do either this year. That's pretty disappointing.
How about you, Molly?
I mean,
got nothing.
Nothing. I got nothing.
Okay.
I'm over here in SEC world, so I don't get to watch all the Iowa games. I only get
Molly,
to watch.
I knew I wasn't going to get much more than women's basketball out of you, but I still wanted you on the show.
Not much I can do.
You. You see that Andrew loves you, Chris loves you. That's why Chris is here. He wouldn't come on if you weren't here.
Whatever.
Okay.
She feels my pain of not being in the great state of Iowa and watching Iowa games and having to be stuck down here in SEC country.
Yeah, it is painful.
I'm here in Pac-12 country, or what used to be Pac-12 country.
I ain't Pac-12 country anymore.
Hey, I want to tell you guys something. Here, this is really funny. YouTube TV, okay? That's what I have for my TV. I can get here in California before the Pac-12 joined the Big Ten. I could get Big Ten Network, ACC Network, SEC Network, and I don't think Big 12 had a network, so I couldn't get one of those.
No, there's a Longhorn Network. Texas rules.
So I had those three. But do you think UTV could actually give us a Pac-12 network? And I know they had it because when I had Spectrum TV at my old place, there was a Pac-12 network, and each team had their own little network. So you could watch and go back and watch any of these teams anytime you wanted, any part of the day. They were all there. They had the live channel, then each channel had their own, and I kind of liked it. I'm going to have to admit, I kind of like, I hate the fact that UCLA and USC became Big Ten schools because I actually like watching them on Saturday night playing.
Why would you want to watch a Pac-12 team? Sorry, but no thank you.
Well, this is when you guys are all sleeping on a Saturday night and your football's done for the day. We were still watching football out here.
Yes.
Hey, Hawaii after dark, my friend. Hawaii after dark.
I'm still watching Hawaii. Yeah, for real. No,
I remember the one time we were in Hawaii and got up, and I think we watched a game at 6 a.m. for Iowa football. I told my wife, this is perfect. The game's going to be over by 9, and we got the rest of the day, and I didn't miss my game.
Yeah, fair. But yeah,
well, that's why YouTube TV is the best, though, Dean. I have it too. I get everything that I want. I still need Flow Sports and all that. See, I couldn't be Chris and Molly. I would have subscriptions everywhere because I have to watch every Iowa game.
Exactly.
And I still do. I still have My wife still tells me, "What's this charge for?" Oh, that's Flow
Exactly.
Sport. I'm like,
So-
I have to watch Iowa softball on Flow Sports. So.
Yeah.
So
I just got a notice from the WNBA channel that or app
Yep.
that it's time to renew for $34.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
believe
I'm
it
thinking,
or
well,
not,
Molly and I are going to do those games. I better re-up it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
believe it or
All right.
not, I can watch just about any game anywhere I want to on YouTube without paying for YouTube TV.
Good job.
The regular YouTube.
Are
Yeah.
you going to jail? What are we talking
No.
about here?
So if
Whose house
if a-
you hooked up to?
if a network isn't broadcasting games, somebody, well, if one of
Somebody's
the big
putting
ones,
a cell
Somebody
phone
does
to
put it
the
up. They do.
screen and playing it live on YouTube.
no,
for
not
sure.
really that. It's like they're fake, they're weird accounts. They'll have like a Chinese name or something like Zhong
Yeah,
Pong.
It's true.
And I'll sit here. I can watch UCLA, USC play each other for
Mhm.
free on YouTube. And the only time that gets taken down is if one of the big networks like ABC, ESPN are covering it.
Yep.
And they search for it.
Oh, okay.
But
Makes
if it's not on a big channel somewhere, chances are you're going to find somebody covering it on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
YouTube doesn't kick it off or whatever?
So,
like trademark
matter of fact,
or whatever?
So, matter of fact, right before we came on, there was a softball game on.
hmm
I don't know if it's still on or not. Let me
Maybe.
see real
You
quick.
can see him searching for it. Search.
Maybe
search,
over.
search.
It might be over. No, it's right here.
Which one is it?
A channel called Once More. It's a verified channel. 3.1K watching. Arkansas versus Oklahoma State.
Oh, cool. But you know that one actually is on a regular network. I thought.
Yeah, and I'm watching it right now on ESPN.
Yeah.
So
Because I
it's
thought I
like-
saw that listed as one of their options on ESPN today.
And Chris, you have it on YouTube right now?
Yeah, on just regular YouTube.
Dang it, Paul. We've been wasting money. This whole time.
I do watch YouTube every once in a while. I go on there and stream. They have the games. I can find them usually.
I
Okay.
watch Iowa USC women's basketball game on YouTube for free.
Yep.
But it was on a regular network,
I still
like
watch it
a
on
network
YouTube.
that you probably already get.
If his cable's cut off, he can do the YouTube.
So-
there you go. All right.
so-
Anywho, I think the next thing I got is I wanted us each talk about our favorite players on each of the teams that we
Yeah.
have. And I don't know, maybe this is kind of getting redundant. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
but
we already did that almost like, right?
No,
Yeah.
not our favorite players. That's
Oh,
question
so we did
eight.
do favorite players, yeah. So I'm
I
going
mean, I
to do
can
this
give
one.
you mine from every sport.
I'm going to do
I got
mine right
mine.
now. Okay.
Okay.
Here I go. I haven't gone first for a while, so I feel like I need to. Okay, women's basketball. It's easily Callie Levine, even though she's
We haven't seen her.
haven't seen her play much. Although I think the final game that she got in was her best game of the season. I think that was the game where they were getting thoroughly beat by Oklahoma. Or was that the game before that? No, it was the game before that. That was the game before that when we were thoroughly beating whatever team we whooped.
Yeah,
Yes, that's true.
in the
Okay.
first round.
Yeah. Men's basketball, it was Josh Dix. I enjoyed watching him play. Football, it was KJ. Just because you knew that every time he touched the ball, something big could happen. And he was probably the only bright spot in that team that whole year, as far as I'm concerned, because the quarterback sucked. The losses sucked. And so, wrestling, I'm going with Steve Buchanan because he won national title. Let's see, who have I missed so far? I'm not picking baseball and softball because I haven't watched enough of them this year.
Mm.
Although if baseball, I would lead toward Gable Mitchell because I kind of liked watching him at bat every time he'd come up to bat. But I don't really have anybody there because I've not invested enough. But I will be by next year, guys. I'm starting to get invested. As you guys can tell, I'm getting a little anxious on the baseball. And I don't think I really said anything much about baseball last year at all.
I'll go and I'll try to make it quick. You'll have to shut me up. But football for the show. I mean, you're going to probably get hate or whatever you get from me. Like, I don't care what people say about me. So and you know that, Dean. But my football is Marco. You guys already know all that.
But was he on the team this year?
Yes, he was on the team. He got hurt when he was.
Remember. You know, those guys come and go so fast anymore. I can't remember who was on the team and who wasn't.
Marco's always been on the team. He transferred now, but he got hurt right before he was supposed to start before the UCLA game, right?
Yes, he would. He would have been our starter, not Shaggy.
Yeah, yes. So, but Marco's still my favorite player. He's going to go ball out at. Is it Elon? Is that how you pronounce that? ELON.
Yep.
Is that
Elon.
what the college is called? Okay.
Elon Musk University?
Yep. He transferred to Elon, so he's going to ball out there and then transfer to a bigger school because obviously leaving here, he had to go down because he never got a chance to play. He'll be a redshirt sophomore. So anyway.
Lesser probably told him to do that, and he told him, we'll bring you back because we're going to lose Cash Herrera, who's out there shopping around for a new school.
If it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
But Brock Harding for basketball, I love watching him play. He reminds me of White Chocolate, if you guys are old enough to remember White Chocolate.
Jason Williams.
I remember the nickname. Who got that nickname?
Paul.
Jason Williams.
Jason Williams, yeah. Jason Williams was my favorite when he was at Sacramento with Chris Webber. That NBA team, I didn't miss a game when they were together.
You better watch out. That pass is hitting you in the head if you ain't on it.
and you don't know if it's coming this way, this way, this way. I absolutely love that dude. But anyway, Brock Harding's my favorite for that. Taylor McCabe, or no, Cynthia Falter. Taylor McCabe was my most improved.
Cynthia Falter has been here since the day she stepped on campus.
Yes, she's my favorite. She's always been my favorite. The way she dives on the floor, she gets those rebounds. And she uses her body like she's 6'5", right? Is she? And I don't know. She's my favorite. I just love her.
I managed to get a pair of sweatpants that belonged to her.
Should you be saying that
so
on
I got
YouTube?
them this week.
That reminded me of a Paul Gabby moment. What are we talking about?
I hope they've been washed and don't smell like sweat.
I hope you're not smelling them. In baseball is Miles Risley. I love how he plays center field. And he's fast or grease lightning. He upped his batting average to over 300. He's batting like 280s, and now it was like 320 something. I'm going off memory, off my head, but I know he went up. He was close to 300 or over 300. And Tatiana Roman, she's always been my favorite player on the softball team. They gave her a year off to go play for the Puerto Rican national team. She came back this year and she played great on the team, but she was my favorite softball player. So those are all my favorites. I made it as quick as I could.
Paul.
I'm just going to say one. I'm just going to say Lucy Olson. She came in impossible position of trying to take Caitlin Clark's spot on the court, her role, and very few times does somebody there was a fair amount of hype as far as her being the second or third leading scorer and then transferring to Iowa and so for her to do that and kudos to her.
Yeah.
And it does suck that she got
choice.
hurt. If she doesn't get hurt in that tournament, right, where she just fell and messed up her knee, she had to get back into the groove again, right? And that's smack in the middle of the season. that doesn't happen,
Yeah.
she maybe even has a better year, right?
Yeah.
But
Well,
She
that
fell on the
5
side of
game
the court
losing
or
streak.
something. Remember?
Yeah. That
Yeah.
5 or 6 game losing streak they went on. I know a lot of people were blaming Lucy, and then when they started winning, it's because Lucy finally found herself and got in the groove and actually became more aggressive. I think before she was just, it's like, okay, I'm new to this team. Should I not take that shot and see if I should give it to somebody who's been here longer than me? Type moments. But anyhow, okay,
I think Coach Jensen had to just keep telling her. She just had to learn that you're going to have to take shots, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the way I feel with her on the Mystics right now, is that she looks very timid, not ready to take charge yet. But I got a feeling, though, if the coach says, take your shot, do it, she'll do it. Anyhow, okay, Molly.
Yeah. So I'm going to surprise you guys. I'm going to give you a softball player. And I have to go with Anna Streff because she is actually my step niece.
Is she
Okay.
really?
Yeah.
Who
So
knew?
yeah, right. So Anna Streff, her grandfather, right? He's my stepdad, and he's married to my mom, and they live in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So I'm gonna go with Anna Streff just because I gotta have a shout out for
Okay.
the family.
All right, we got to get her on the show now since you're related to her. We got to get her on.
I'll try.
Do a
I'll get her
softball.
on. We'll see what we
We'll
can
do a
do.
softball show. Okay.
That would be fun.
You better invite me on that one.
Okay.
I will. And then Stremlo. I'm going with Stremlo on the basketball team. I just love the way that when she's on the court, she just has fun when she's out there. And she gives it 100%. And I think that, once she gets that like girlish way she plays, I mean, when she falls into her role on the floor, she's gonna be unstoppable. I mean, I really see her being a force for Iowa.
Where did you see her playing? Because with Kylie, with Kylie coming back, she's going to still be the 3. Hannah's going to move to the 4. Hayden's going to take the 5. Cha-Cha or Chat-Chat, whatever her name is, Chit-Chat, will take the 1. So who gets the 2?
The freshman.
Addie Deal.
Right?
Deal?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's going to take the 2.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Hannah's going to go to the 4. They tried that this year. She just plays better at the 5.
Yeah, she does. She plays way better.
Because she didn't. She missed the whole summer workout when she was supposed to have been working on that. That was the stuff that she needs to be a force. She's fully healthy. We'll spend this summer working out, and we'll see when fall practice starts if she's improved enough to be the 4 permanently.
Right.
She just works better with her back to the basket.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She just does. I don't know why, but she just does. It's almost like when she faces up, she's all right, but there's a lot of times where it seems she's just so much. Some post players are just better with their back to the basket. I mean,
that's true. Yep.
Okay, so Chris, last but not least on this one, so do you have any favorites?
I do.
Okay.
I actually have 3.
Okay.
Men's basketball, women's basketball, and baseball.
Okay, cool.
I'll save my favorite for the last, as long as Molly will promise me when I read what I read, you won't break down in tears.
Okay.
Because it involves somebody that's around your age group that was very important in the history of Iowa basketball.
Okay.
And you may have an idea of where I'm going with it.
Maybe.
But women's basketball, give me Hannah Stolke all day. The heart she plays with, battling back from the injuries last year. I mean, that's something special. I like watching players with heart. Okay. In baseball, I'm going with Aaron Savory. Where would Iowa baseball be without that cat going 7-1 this year? This dude was flat filthy on the mound, and nobody could hit him. So
yeah, he shocked me. I was down on him at the beginning of the year. I didn't think he should be a starter. There's a reason I'm not a D1 baseball coach.
I like watching stories like that. That guy just battles and battles and battles. He gets in there, he throws strikes, he gets out, he does his job. That's what I like as a baseball fan. Now, my last one, men's basketball. I'm going to read something. The Chris Street Award is presented annually to a Hawkeye player or players who best exemplify the spirit, enthusiasm, and intensity of Mr. Chris Street. Street was an Iowa basketball player who tragically passed away in an automobile accident in 1993, midway through his junior year.
Mm-hmm.
And I bring that up. I got to watch Chris Street when he was a freshman in high school. Loved it.
Yep.
Loved the way he plays, his passion, his enthusiasm, the way he grinds and battles and everything.
Yeah, he never stopped.
So my favorite player is Peyton Sanford.
Yep.
That kid, that's your perfect Chris Street Award winner. Iowa kid, gets in there, gives it everything he has, passionate about his play. Give me that all day long.
And not only that,
give me a team with 5 starters that play like that, and I'm beating you 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. And I predicted that he would get the Chris Street Award. I'm sure he got it, didn't he?
Yep, he did.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. And he played hurt at the end of the year. He was totally injured. I think his shoulder injury and a wrist injury.
It was yeah.
Yeah, I think he had both. And so, yeah.
Yeah,
hey guys, we're getting close. We're getting close to wrapping this up. You guys are probably thinking, "Thank God."
No, I mean we're on to question 9. Let's go.
Most fascinating coach to listen to when you guys turn on post game or midweek interviews. Who do you look forward to listening to speak the most? I'm gonna give Chris a chance to go first this time because I've been putting him off to last all the time.
Does it have to be an Iowa coach?
I would like it to be, but I tell you what, I'm going to give you a break. You can give me your Vandy coach.
Give me Tim Corbin all day long. That guy is the most cerebral coach I've ever heard speak in my life. When I go listen to him speak, guess what? He has me wanting to run through brick walls and go play for him. He's that motivating. He's intelligent about what he says. And he's very precise in his word choice. I love listening to that guy talk.
All right. Molly.
Tim Corbin.
I don't have time. I don't have time to listen to anybody.
All righty.
I know who Molly's favorite coach is to listen to talk.
Who?
Coach Tideback.
There you go.
Nick Saban.
What about? Oh, I got one for you. What about Vivian Stringer, the coach that she had here for 4 years?
Absolutely.
3 years.
Insane coach. Most amazing pregame talks. Soft voice. Never lost it. She never. I mean, we could be down by 3 and have 0.5 seconds left, and we'd still think we're going to win the game. I mean, that's just the kind of coach she was. Like, she just had a way about her that, I mean, I'm so grateful that I still have the opportunity to remember. Right.
Correct. Yeah. And now I want to say something though.
Mm-hmm.
But she did get mad at you enough that, according to Angie Lee, you did run the stairs at Kennick a few times.
Yeah, well, that was because of Angie Lee. That was not because of Coach Stringer.
Okay.
Angie was just so irritated with me because we were so alike.
There you go. All right, Paul.
Man, this is tough. I really don't have one.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Kelvin likes to listen to Coach Brands.
Okay. I take it back. Coach Hack.
Coach Hack. All right. He's just a Hawkeye fan. He's not a Hawkeye coach. All right, Jason, go for it.
Well, I mean, Chris actually, I was like, does it have to be a Hawkeye coach? I know you guys well, you guys know, Molly and Chris don't know, but my guy is Mike Leach. I miss him so much. I absolutely just miss Mike Leach. But like he's the guy. Like I took his coaching clinic for 3 years. That's how I learned the air raid. But just hearing Mike Leach,
stories.
Oh God, yeah. Well, you kind of like him in a way, Chris. You set up everything you say. Like just now, you were like, Molly, I'm going to say something, but you just don't cry, right? You do the same stuff. You set up your story, and Mike Leach, yeah, when he tells a story, he literally, it's like he's a stand-up comedian on stage where he has to set up his jokes. Like he would tell stories that are just amazing. Like his story about he saw the Texas in 1999 Texas-Oklahoma game. He literally dropped his play call sheet in front of the Texas managers or whatever, not their coaches. So the managers took that play call sheet to the coaches and they used it. And if you watch the game in 1999, Oklahoma was up like 24-0 because they thought that play call sheet was real. Now, when the talent kicked in, Texas rolled them. I think they won like 35-24, something like that. Because the coaches were like, no, this is wrong. This isn't what they're doing. So, but yeah, Mike Leach is my guy. But Coach Bell, I like listening to Coach Bell talk about the D-line on the Iowa side. I like the conversations I've had with Coach Bell. You know, he's a huge Buffalo Bills fan. And when I was talking about AJ having a terrible combine, he came at me and was talking about how, because AJ did not work out, and at the combine he was throwing up and stuff because they were working him out. And like, I just like Coach Bell hearing him talk about the D-line and stuff.
Great.
Yeah.
Good.
There's
Good choices. All right. Andrew says that Lane Kiffin will be our new coach. What do you guys think of that comment?
Not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen either. We didn't get that kind of money. But it'd be nice if we did.
His son actually just moved to Oxford, Mississippi, and is taking over as the starting quarterback at Oxford High School. He's not moving his kid anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, speaking about moving kids, as you guys know, that my daughter lives in Oklahoma, and she's very close to Norman, where she lives. I guess Oklahoma's the #1 ranked gymnastics team, women's gymnastics, I guess. And the coach's daughter has chosen to play not play, but be a gymnastics person at Iowa rather than doing gymnastics for her mother. It sounds like her mother encouraged her to take this route because she didn't want the fallout of having her daughter on the team.
Cool.
This all came from my daughter today. She sent me an article. Okay, my favorite coach, for this year would be Tim Lester. I do not know why. He's got me wanting to come play for him. If he come and sat in my living room and gave me the speech that he gives everybody else, I'm coming to play for him, bum knees and everything. And I'll run, like whoever said, I'll run through a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah. However, I love listening to him speak. I love his candidness. I love what he has to say, and he seems to be a real motivator when he speaks. The other thing is, I'm going to add this one to the list. Technically, he's next year's coach, but Ben McCollum, our new basketball coach.
Love hearing him talk.
I love hearing him talk. I do not know why everybody he talks to recruit, why they're not coming to Iowa. What is it? Because, I mean, the way he motivates, I don't know why people aren't just jumping off the ship and saying, oh, my God, coach, I love you, buddy. We're coming to Iowa.
So there is another coach I like to watch.
Okay.
So there's an account on YouTube called Heaven's Sent or something like that. It's an Iowa fan. And they produce AI videos of Hayden, oh my God, of Kirk Ferentz. I love watching those AI videos of Kirk Ferentz. They are the best thing ever. Give me those all day long.
Yeah. No, I've seen them. I love them. And did you guys see the AI video that I sent you all this morning of Caitlin Clark addressing the Angel Reese thing? Of course, it's Paul sent it out first, and then I sent it out to everybody else.
It's hilarious.
That was hilarious.
I have somebody that actually believes those are real.
I did initially.
I was like, how can you
I didn't know about
it's not
AI.
real?
I mean, yeah, I don't know if you guys remember back when they were doing that with Brian Ferentz.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They were redoing his and just make him say some crazy stuff.
That's the account I'm talking about on Twitter that was doing that.
Oh,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is it Twitter or YouTube?
Twitter.
Twitter. Okay.
Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
That's Twitter to me, and always will be.
Right?
Yeah, same here. I don't know. What do you say? Because I always say, "Did you get the tweet?" I mean, what do you say? Do you get the X? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Did I X you? I mean,
Did I X you?
What about MySpace? Did you guys all have
oh my
MySpace
gosh,
back in
Yes,
the
I
day?
it's
did.
taking us way back now.
I
Yes, I
do.
did.
I still have it, but I don't know how to get into it anymore. And I tried to reclaim all my pictures, but they wouldn't let me reclaim them. I guess they're the property of MySpace now.
I thought MySpace was in space.
It's still out there, but
Is
people
it?
use it for other things now, and it's not like they use it like they use Facebook. Okay, all right, guys. The final thing I want to talk about, and I don't know how this is. There's like media people that put out podcasts and stuff like that, and I just kind of want to get a feel for some people, real media people, not podcasters like myself or you guys, but real media people who work for real media places. Who you guys like to listen to or not listen to? Like who bores you? Like for me, I don't like listening to Pat Hardy. He bores me, and I don't think his information is correct. But I will listen to Tom Kakirk or Tom Dockerman anytime because I think their information is usually correct. So usually when they've got something to say, I will watch it or listen to it. What about you guys? Jason, you're laughing, so I'm going to give you a shot at this one.
Well, the one that I like is Kelvin, and he's listening to us right now because he sends me facts. Right, I don't get all the crazy stuff. Kelvin sends me a lot of facts. So you're my number one, Kelvin. But I mean,
He's not media though.
I know I don't have a favorite one because they're all insane. Like
Okay.
last year, the way they were all talking about how Sullivan's the best thing, and they were making fun of the coaching staff. Literally in the meetings, you remember we would talk about this.
Yes.
They would be mad Sullivan wasn't starting. And I'd be like, why are you wanting Sullivan to start? He's lost everywhere he's been. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. And then when he came in, everything that I was saying about him became true.
Yeah. Do you remember the
but-
bowl game when Sullivan got off to a hot start and I wrote you? I go, what do you think of Sullivan now? And you go, wait till the second half. And he just totally blew up in the second half.
Yeah, wait till they adjust to him. Like, he was just running around. But anyway, but the least it's like Pat Hardy, like you said, Rob Howe, they all blocked me on X, or I was Twitter back then, because I would give them facts. Like this goes all the way. Pat Hardy blocked me when you guys remember Hogan, Deuce Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
I told Pat Hardy way back when, I go, he's going to end up transferring because Pat Hardy was all about Deuce Hogan. And I saw him that summer with the Iowa team. I'm like, oh boy, he couldn't even get the kids out of the huddle, and he had already been there a year. So I was like, oh, Pat, your guy is going to be transferring. And then when he transferred, he blocked me. Rob Howe blocked me on X because I gave him facts. I mean,
Now that's funny that Rob Howe would block you because I said some stuff and I said this will probably get me blocked, and he says I don't block people. I'm trying to get viewers.
No, he does. He blocks people when they're right. He doesn't like it when you're right.
Okay.
So, but after last year, though, all Iowa media was, I mean, they're just going for clicks now. I mean, in my opinion, it's all about the clicks with them because they'll say stuff that makes no sense or logic, and they'll pretend like they know, and then they'll get mad at coaches who don't do what they say, right? So I'm glad you said not podcasters because I thought you were going to have me say Corey because me and the former offensive coordinator for Iowa, you guys know who's with Corey, we get into arguments all the time. So
Yeah.
because
I
he
do
still
not
thinks
consider Corey part of the media, but he considers himself part of the media.
Yeah.
But to me, he's
I mean,
still a podcaster.
they still think the defense and offenses are from 1980, so they don't even from the 80s. So yeah, there's my take on the Iowa media. You made me say it. I'm
I
blaming you,
know.
Dean.
Paul, you got anybody, or did you already say you don't?
Well, I'm gonna go outside the box here a little bit. My father-in-law's a sports writer. He's been covering sports for 30 plus years, and he's as knowledgeable as anybody. He's just a wealth of knowledge to talk to about any wide range of things. And so I will say my father-in-law, and I'm going to abstain from mentioning any members of the media that I dislike.
I
Yeah,
couldn't
I know.
do it, Paul.
I still
saw
can't
your
figure
message, Paul.
I still can't figure out who he was talking about earlier today, but I'm supposed to know.
Mhm.
All right, Molly, you got anybody? I mean, I know you're down there in Georgia, so you probably don't hear a lot.
I mean, if we're just talking about like announcers that are announcing games and actually know what they're talking about, instead of, like the Big Ten, when you get on the Big Ten network and you got these kids that are trying to learn the game and they
Oh, the
don't,
Big Ten Plus network guys, they're
right, and they
horrible.
don't even know the names of the players and all
Oh.
that. I really I didn't at first like listening to Rebecca Lobo. I used to call her Rebecca Slobo when we played back in the day, but I
play
didn't
against
like
her?
listening to her before, but now I do since she's gotten off of the Connecticut train, because she used to be so about Connecticut. Everything was about UConn.
Yeah.
But since she's gotten off the UConn train, I really like her knowledge and what she brings to the announcing of the games, along with I like Holly Rowe too, because I think Holly Rowe does a good job of that, that side court, bringing the questions out and talking to the players. My least favorite, I think, is Monica McNutt. I just sorry.
No.
And
Just
McNutt
drop-
is my mom's maiden name, and I'm going, so like I'm just like Monica
All right.
McNutt. I just
that the show that she's on sometimes is overbearing. That's why I like.
I can't and then I could just name three of those girls that are across that screen right there and just be like, are you kidding me? Like, what are we talking about? You guys used to play before? Like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
I really liked Aaliyah Boston when she was on, was it Peacock?
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
she
real.
still was on Peacock this year.
Yeah,
And
And
shame
you-
on
you-
you guys.
You know who else is good? Is Stephanie White is a really good announcer.
Yeah.
Stephanie White's a good announcer. Like she does a great job. So
By the way, shame on you guys for making fun of college kids on BTN Plus.
hey,
I know.
it's
I'm the one
irritating.
that said that. These are college kids learning the trade. We should probably
It's
be patient
fine, but
with
they're
them.
still supposed to practice the names. We all know that. Before you give a speech, you better know how to say the name.
Yeah.
All right,
And
Chris.
my father was actually one of those guys at University of Iowa. He didn't have BTN to stream to at that time, but he was definitely learning on the job at
He probably
the
did better.
local TV station that the university had, and the radio station KXIC as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Fisher says the most knowledgeable, Saman and Matt Bowen. I actually, I didn't like Saban as a coach because I hated the fact that he would whoop us, but he does make a fairly good
Oh yeah, he
sidekick
does.
on the show, and he knows his stuff.
He's straightforward with it too.
He is
That's what
very
I like.
straightforward.
I
But
like
you know
the
what?
old school, straightforward stuff.
He
Yeah,
doesn't
I like that.
sugarcoat anything.
All right, okay. I'm sorry, I got him and Urban Meyer mixed up, but they both bring a lot of knowledge to the TV football. You learn things that you wouldn't learn from other people. Okay, Chris, finally you get to go again for one last
Yay.
time.
So I'm just going to say it. I have two podcasts that I follow religiously that cover Iowa sports. How about Talking Iowa Hawkeye Sports with Dean Fain and Molly Tideback?
Yeah, there you go.
And my brothers, the Hawkaholics, Can't leave them out.
This guy's hilarious.
They left
So-
themselves out tonight, though. I don't know where they didn't show up. I guess Brandon never really got his thing fixed.
Brad
Let's see.
is-
What can I sign
Brad-
for you? There's something I can sign for you. Let me send you something.
Brad is at home in his padded bedroom crying about the baseball team. Let's not lie here. That's what he's doing. Now, anyway, a play-by-play guy I like to watch. Some of you might be familiar with him that follow high school sports in Iowa. Robbie Weinstein. He's the Vanderbilt 247 guy. He lives in Nashville. But during the Iowa State playoffs for football and basketball, he partners with, I believe it's Iowa Prep Zone, that televises all the games in the Unidome. I love Robbie. Robbie is a cool cat. I love talking to him. On a national level, Clay Travis can kick all the damn rocks. Every single one of them. The big ones, the little ones, every rock. This dude is nothing but a blowhard. And if you follow him on Twitter, because I've got 3 different Twitter accounts, I'm just saying, he cries all the time about people blocking him. But guess what? My personal Twitter, he blocked me. Come on, coward. Unblock me, man.
There you go.
Okay.
I do have one. You just reminded me. Do you ever listen to that Iowa Everywhere? I think is what it's called.
Yeah, I mean, there's a really cool guy on that show, on especially game day, who likes to talk play-by-play.
But there's like a Chris Hayes or something. What's his name? The dude they're with the Iowa State guy, and he just hates on Iowa nonstop. The guy that's on Iowa Everywhere. He's a Hawkeye, he says.
Oh, Chris Hassel.
Chris Hassel. Yeah, that's
Yes.
another dude. Yeah, he blocked me as well on X. He does not like when you
got
he does
blocked
not
by
like
him?
Yeah, he doesn't like positivity when it comes to Iowa sports.
All
I said was something positive. And
Yeah,
he
I think
did not
Chris and
like
I would
it.
actually get along really well because he's very negative.
His first quarter is just like your first quarters.
Guys,
it's over.
Somebody that I nationally that I like listening to, give me Pat all day. I love him. This dude, he don't care what he says, who he says it to. He's going to speak his mind on everything. And with him and Nick Saban teaming up on game day,
that's crazy.
They have saved that show more than anybody knows, because it was a dead product. Yeah. And everybody's tuning in now just to see what Pat and Nick are going to do.
Yeah.
I love that combination.
Hilarious.
Guys, I'm going to try to show you something right here. I need you to tell me if you can tell me who this guy is.
Can't see it.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of small screen tonight, huh?
Weird glare.
I don't know who it is.
I don't know. It's my grandson with him, and my grandson's a soccer player who had a soccer tournament and apparently run into this guy at a mall.
Okay.
I don't know, but I mean, my daughter's not going to let him take a picture with just anybody, so it's got to be somebody that.
So you don't know who it is. I thought maybe you had the answer.
He doesn't.
I do not. I was looking for some help.
He wants us to know. He's like, oh yeah, that's cool. Who is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Look, T. Hink's here. T. Hink's here because he loves Jason.
Oh, hey, what's up, mate?
He didn't block you.
Yeah. T, we were actually getting ready to go off. You should have come on earlier.
Yeah.
So
it's been a while, Hank. I've been on vacation for 6 months. So yeah.
You pretty much took a break after football season ended.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind, do you mind if I give a shout out real quick?
Go for it.
The people have seen him in the chat over here. Andrew Anderson. Let me give a shout out to Andrew. He's building something. The Villains, college sports villains, absolutely love being part of it. if you're looking for sports content, give College Sports Villains a try. There's something for everyone. We have 2 different Iowa Hawkeye shows. We've got a show that focuses mainly on college baseball, but we do go out and do other things called the Golden Broom Podcast. We have fun on Thursday nights with the Villains, the podcast. I mean, there's something for everyone.
There is. Hey, let me play this clip real quick as long as you brought it up.
Tune in. There you go.
Let me play this clip. Vandy, I didn't see your broom show on that list, and neither am I. I'm not on that list either.
I think he's in the process of making a new one.
He has to because he's added a couple new shows to the network.
Yep.
You guys don't have enough tattoos to be on that list.
And speaking of tattoos,
look at that, Molly.
You played the commercial for Jimbo earlier.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're ever in the South Carolina area and you decide you want to get a herky tattooed on your back, on your thigh, on your arm, on your chest, if you just want herky tattooed on you and you're in the area, go give Jimbo a visit. He will hook you up. He's a great artist. Let him put some ink on you. You'll love it.
Might have to go get a tramp stamp.
a herky trap stamp, huh?
Yeah. No, I don't have any tattoos because I hate needles. I don't. I watched a buddy of mine get one. We were getting barbed wire back in the day when we were cool. When you got barbed wire around your biceps.
Oh yeah,
When you're working out. Well, they got inside his bicep and he started tearing up, and I was like,
"Oh, it's horrible."
I'm not doing that.
You don't like needles, huh?
Uh-uh.
I got the perfect medical test that you need to take.
Nope.
It's called an EMG nerve scan. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever had one, but it's a 2-phase test to see if you have neuropathy.
I know I have it.
So the first phase is the electrodes that, like the things they stick on you for the EKGs and stuff.
Yeah.
The second phase is a muscle test. And they have a needle about yay long.
No.
Attached to a sound monitor, because when your muscle moves, it creates a sound that we can't hear.
It screams.
Oh, you stick that thing 5 different locations in your leg, in the muscle tissue. Oh my God, that crap hurts.
Yeah, why?
Ever do it.
Why?
I'm just going to say right now.
What were you doing?
You're going to hear me screaming.
He was being tortured. Like, who does that?
I just had it done on Wednesday. It hurts.
Well, I already know I have neuropathy. I don't need that test.
All right. T. Hink is pretty excited about our wide receivers. T. Hink, see next Sunday. We're going to do an all Big Ten show next Sunday. So far, Jason and he's got a guest lined up. I don't know who else is coming on to join us yet.
My son, my oldest boy, who just graduated with his business degree, by the way. His
Congratulations
buddy,
to your son.
Thank you. His best friend just graduated as well with a finance degree, but he's the one that's going to be on the show, Jaden. He's going to talk Ohio State. He's a huge Ohio State guy. So it's a Big Ten show, Paul. So
I know it is.
We're going
he's an
behind
Ohio
enemies.
State guy.
We're gonna talk Big Ten because we can't just talk Ohio State on an Iowa show.
Yeah, he might. Go ahead.
Since I probably won't be on next Sunday, I'll just say this. number one team in the country next year is going to be Penn State. They will be the team to beat. Ohio State takes a step backwards, and I say that knowing Penn State's got everybody coming back, and they've added depth in the wide receiver room, and this is the year that they've been looking forward to. This is the year that they've planned for everything to fall in place.
Yep, and this is going to be the year Iowa ruins their national title hopes. No, I'm just kidding.
Wouldn't be the first time.
But yeah, we did. They came in undefeated before when it was still two teams in the playoffs, right? And we killed their national title hopes.
2008 comes to mind.
2008.
Yeah. That was before Big Jimmy Frank.
You just like Jimmy Frank because he was at Vanderbilt first.
I was going to say, he's got to be connected to Vanderbilt.
Yeah, he is.
No, I'm not connected.
Outside of Joe Paul,
Vandy.
that's probably the best coach that they've ever hired. I'm not even called Joe Paul. Yeah, Joe Paul wasn't that great either. Okay. Yeah. What about Oregon? Number two?
I don't think so. I really don't. As far as Oregon goes, they've lost their quarterback for the second year in a row. They've lost a lot of playmakers on the outside. I
it's
think
probably Georgia.
Georgia or Texas,
right.
most likely.
I've seen some preseason picks picking Texas.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing about Georgia.
Yeah, well, I mean, Texas has Manning. We'll find out how good he is.
Right.
I mean, I have him way up here. He was my top quarterback when he came out of high school. So
who is he going to throw the ball to?
I mean, those are the questions.
Isaiah Bond is gone. Both of their wide receivers are gone. So who's he going to throw it to?
Well, I mean, it is Texas. You know, they got a stable. And Isaiah Bond kind of fell down in that stable, if you remember. Right? That's why his draft stock just went out the window. And I heard it's because of his attitude. I heard that when he transferred from Alabama, I think is where he was, right?
Yep.
He led the team in receptions. And he transferred with this head that was this big, saying that he was going to be like the number one. And he wasn't even the number one wide receiver at Texas. So we'll see. I mean, they have a great coach. I love the offensive mind of their head coach. I just think he'll find a way. And Manning has legs and an arm. Like, Manning could do everything. He's got his grandpa and his uncles in him. So, yeah. So, I mean.
All right, guys, I got to wrap this show up.
Do I dare mention the stories about his uncle?
No. I saw that stuff. No.
I saw it and read it. He sent the links. I actually read it. Apparently it's true, but I refuse to believe it.
It don't matter. It's over. It's
over and done with.
Has nothing to do with Archie, right?
No.
Arch has nothing to do with Arch, so we're good.
Right. Yep, that's true. Okay, guys, I got to wrap this up. I got things to do. My wife is screaming, and
been there.
I got one last week of school.
There you go. My daughter's done in Oklahoma. They're already done for 2 weeks now.
No.
Then she goes to work for summer school, I think, after that.
We're gonna next week we're talking the positions, right? So we'll talk about the D line, right?
Yeah. Yep. We'll get it all. We'll cover it next week. Send me anything this week that you think we need to cover that I might miss.
I'll tell you one thing to cover.
What's that?
I'll send you a message I got.
Who your quarterback is going to be.
Yeah, I know. I don't think either you or Jason think it's going to be Gronk.
No. Gronk's going to start if he's healthy. But I'm with Chris with Brown. You remember, right? I was so excited when he got here, right? That was before Gronk. But Gronk's going to start because Gronk has the legs, and he's got an arm, but not as good as Brown, right? So, and you're going to hear that, Dean. I saw your message, by the way. Somebody was talking about Brown and Gronk or whatever. No, Brown is a better thrower. There's no doubt. But Gronk has everything Lester's looking for. That's why. But Chris is right about Brown. I mean, I'm on the same page. But Gronk has everything. So
Guys, this is he wants to know about Shaggy. You want to talk about Shaggy before we go out?
I mean, I can. Shaggy will be. It's going to be between Shaggy and Brown as far as 2 and 3. To me, they're both really close. Shaggy's got the best arm talent. That's why he went to an air raid offense right out of high school. He does have great arm talent, but he doesn't move very well. He moves a little bit in the pocket, but he doesn't do what Lester wants done at the quarterback position. That's why I think Brown he's better. I think Brown runs a 4.7 40, so he can run a little bit. But Gronk does everything. I think it's going to go Gronk until if he gets hurt, then it'll be Brown. And Hank Brown's will do great if Gronk does get hurt. But then you'll have Shaggy at 3.
All right, we're going to get out of here, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. See the scroll bit down there. It says, please smash the sub button, hit the like button, comment, and share. Please, 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 please. Let's keep moving this thing forward for everybody, all right?
Sounds like
Okay.
fun.
If you got
Go
this
on.
far, I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Good night, everybody.
I will never be free now, my baby. No, no.